What is going on, guys? It's your boy here again, Dean, and just give me one crash out. Give me one crash out video, guys. I need the one. We can be positive later, we can have deck profiles later, but I needed one crash out video. Horrific things happened yesterday, and I see this Reddit post about the state of the game from this user, what is it, Dark Castfire, about how every single class is bullshit to play against, but also horrible to play. Like, right, there are things that are going to be happening on your side of the table. The cards are only good for your opponent. I want to talk about why that is, but also look guys, this is why this video is happening. Yesterday I was trying to get footage. I have some thumbnails lined up for some decks, and holy shit, dude, I don't know if I'm the person to be watching, because I went on the worst tear of lost streaks I've ever seen. We're back on a win streak. Ward Haven's going to be going up later tonight in like probably an hour. I'm going to be showing off some of these games. These games are Ruby games now, though. We went from Diamond to Ruby in one straight. Boom. I just could not stop falling. I couldn't bring it back. I also didn't go to Portal or Rune, the decks that I'm actually good with. So, you know, I guess I did it to myself. But yeah, I want to talk about the reason that I've heard people say, you know, this game feels unbalanced. The meta's fucked up. Super Evos are too strong. Guess what? I don't think Super Evos are too strong. Your opponent has them too. You have them. If they're that strong, win with them. Simple as. But I do think that the current way the game feels is man, I do Shadowverse Online open, dude. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best, guys. But I was wondering, do I even want to show up? But I'm gonna show up. We're gonna fucking win. I can't be a little bitch. So, okay. I think currently one of the huge problems with this game is that, like, yeah, Super Evos are broken. But I think it's, like, specific Super Evos, right? Like, when you're thinking, like, Orcus, which for some reason has... Why does she have a banner effect? Okay, I know this is, like, Follow me. They have tied so much removal into the... They have tied so much removal into the Super Evo, into the Evo part of the game, that the second you run out is the second you lose. And it means that Evoing early feels like it loses you the game. So the good cards are cards that don't need Evo to clear. But the problem is that the stat lines are made so that 95% of those cards still need to Evo. Or that the cards that will Evo aggressively against you are so overtuned that if you use the answers, you instantly lose regardless because they push so much damage. Like, Orcus goes 8 damage into, like, Noah buffed puppet, like, 10 plus. So you will die to double Orcus, even if you clear with Medusa, but Orcus is an 8/8, and the Lloyd is left alive, so cards like Geno don't clear without the Evo. So the game is set up in a way that your opponent just slams down 2 cards, they Super Evo them, and you die from full health. Which means that a lot of early game pressure can get nullified immediately. Like the lack of early game pressure doesn't even matter. It gets caught up within 2 turns of Super Evo because the Super Evo is so powerful. On top of that, cards, even the best cards in this game, fucking suck. Okay, what do I mean by that? You're like, wow, what does he mean? Okay, except for this card's actually insane. Now that I've been talking about this, and now that I've been conceptualizing the game in my head, right? You have cards like this, 8 mana, 5/5. Pass your turn, dude. Because the Super Evos are so powerful, they have cards. There are decks that can kill this infinite times. Like, I like, straight up, you fight Control Abyss, you put this thing down, they're gonna kill this thing 3-4 times in a turn. You're gonna lose. It's just that simple. Like, this card's not good enough. It will come back. You'll have 10 Earthright stacks. They'll eat through 6 of them, and then they'll be healing. This thing will come back. You'll have to deal with their card. You'll be gassed out of Super Evos. You're gonna lose. It's gonna be simple as. Cards like Aether come down, summon a full board. You think, wow, that's cool. But cards like Medusa, cards like the Vessel, cards like this thing, it gets peeled. Like, the entire board, even off of an Aether, gets peeled by everything, because everything has to be able to respond to, like, an Orcus board from last set. And this board, even after a Wilbert, Like you'll have like a 1-2 randomly or something, and that's what they'll leave up, and they'll clear 3 other things. Like, that's just the way that it is. That's the way that the game currently works. They had to overtune removal because super evos are so strong. So it feels like nothing can stick, but then sometimes your cards do stick, and you instantly win. And sometimes you can't clear your opponent's board. But it doesn't feel like it's like any choice that you made. It just feels like the way that the game is made is that, like, there's I'm sorry, like, when you're crashing out, it's like really hard to contextualize to people like what you're trying to say. It's like you're fighting a sword player, and you can either fight around, like around Albert by going like really tall, right? But then you have this card. This card is dog shit. This card is like fucking terrible. It loses to Odin. It loses to like a lot of just random cards, but people were playing it, and people still might be playing it, right? Like, you never know. It might jump scare you. So you're playing around Albert, you go tall on something, you're trying to like gas them out, they Geno the clear, right? It's like, how many answers do they have in their hand? The answer is they have all of them. They have every answer in their hand that they need, and your cards are very inflexible, right? Like, if you want to go tall, that's your entire turn. That's all of your mana. If you want to go wide, that's probably your entire turn. It's all of your mana. It's probably off of a single card, by the way. You probably don't get to play 2 cards out of hand, because that's not the way this game seems to work at all, 95% of the time, for a lot of the classes. But a lot of the top-end cards are just, like, inflexibly... They're just, like, inflexible. They're not good cards on their own. Like, Urius is only a good card if my opponent has literally nothing on board. That's the only time he's good. Or if they have 1 card on board. Otherwise, Urius is a bad card. And that's the problem with this. Like, every card in this game that you put into your deck, outside of, I guess, Orcus, which just pushes your opponent's shit in, a lot of cards are just bad. Twilight Dragon is only good if my opponent has a full board. You're never super evoing it because the game is overloaded with removal. So this card, if you play this down raw and it's not removing the board and all you're doing is super evoing to draw 3, you better have already fennied the turn before and, like, be able to win on the spot next turn. Like, this thing took your entire turn to cost 9. If Ralmia can't peel the board because you don't have the right artifacts in hand, I'm sorry, you lose, because, like, it's all it does is it summons out either lethal, it heals you up, because the board it summons, it gets cleared. The Super Evo, it doesn't do anything. The Super Evo giving your card stats. Now that they're indestructible, maybe it's a little bit better, a little bit harder to get through with the Carnil. But usually you're rather even hold your Super Evos with cards like this. John, you better have a board, right? Like, putting this thing down raw and AoEing the board. It's like every card on the top end feels inflexible, because they're not just raw good. Cerberus, you need to have the ghost. Your opponent usually has to have cards. Okay, this card's a little fucked up. This guy, he's a little fucked up. The other problem, if you've been playing the game, is that every good card costs too much. Every reasonable play in this game is in the 6 and up slot, it feels like, for most decks. So, like, I was playing a lot of Dirt Rune, and I was crashing out because, like, they're on the hybrid now with the onions. I think you have to be, because then you can tech in this guy, and this guy's broken. You need this guy, otherwise you lose to Wardhaven, it feels like. But when you have this guy, you instantly beat Wardhaven. But this guy does nothing against Roach, right? Like I said, every card's inflexible, somewhat, almost. Norman, like, the big thing that I was playing with, right? Heal 8, you're like, oh man, I can have 8 extra health. You do it, it doesn't fucking matter. This guy, the wards with barrier, like, cool. Does your opponent literally have no board when you do this? Because if they have a single card on board, the barrier's gone, and then are you wasting the Evo on it? Because a lot of the game is the footsies with the Evos. So you're forced to use your Evos on some of these cards that don't do enough, and then your opponent's removal suite is so overtuned that this stuff gets peeled, and then you lose because you wasted your Evo, and now you can't respond to their response because the rest of your hand is filled with other cards that need Evos, because that's the way they've designed cards so far, is that 2/3 of your deck say, on evolve, do something, otherwise vanilla. Even this guy with his Earthright says vanilla. I mean, getting a Guardian Golem on turn 10 with barrier stops specifically Albert, and that's it. And then they play down a Geno, they clear anyway, or they put down the 6-drop that AoEs the board, right? And then because this guy costs 6, we can't fucking play other good cards with him. We can't ward up with him. You could, like, play other bodies on board, like the Edelweiss, and eat your stacks, which means that the 8-drop in your hand doesn't do anything. Or you can put down this guy, the Enchanting Perfumer, on turn 10, and hope that 3 damage clears the entire board, and then your 3/3 ward saves you from what your opponent's gonna do. Guys, the crash out was so fucking real. Yeah, so the takeaway here is, for those who are still here and wanting to understand, like, where I think the card design is failing and why I think that people are frustrated, is I think that removal is both too strong and that mana curves are both too high. Every good deck has expensive cards, like, right? Like, if we look at, like, this deck, right? Decks. We got Havencraft, right? We look at this, we've got all of this low stuff that gets pulled out by Aether. And for some reason, in the game with, like, overtuned everything else, the Serene Sanctuary is going to cost 2 mana to get the countdown 2, draw 2. And basically, you don't have cards that are easy to weave in with your turns, because your good turns are very heavy. They're like Aether on 7. And then maybe next turn you can, like, Aether Divine Guard. We don't have cards like the Goblin. We don't have cards... Wayfaring Goblin was like a card that would, like, auto-evolve on turn 8 and then would heal 3 in the late game, but he would draw in the early game turn 1. So we don't have cards like that that are, like, low mana cost 1-drops that are easy to weave in. Instead, we have very reliant on curve. Like, you want to have on 5 this to clear the board, because before that you weren't doing anything. And then on 6, you want to have Wilbur Evo. And then on 7, you want to have Aether. If you have Olivia, I think Olivia's honestly bad in this deck, but she heals, I guess, and you need heal, and then I guess she can combo with this or something. Right? But it's like, this is your turn 7, this is your turn 8. Where are your other cards? You can't weave anything else in. Like, that's the way that the game feels, and when you're playing this guy down on turn 7, where's your 1-drop to weave in? You can put this thing down, and by turn 10, you get to draw 2 cards, but until then, what are you doing? Or Wilbur Divine Shielding passing? It's like we don't have good cards at low mana cost slots for most classes. Even in Puppets, the good cards, which I don't even have Puppets built, Portalcraft is like... You have, like, good cards that you can weave in, but honestly, even Portal, when you're playing this deck, you feel the same problem of where you're, like, very reliant on curve. You've got Karula in hand, and you're like, I slam Karula now, or on turn 7, I don't have anything else to go with him. So, and it's like, then when does he come out? Turn 8? Well, turn 8, I want to play this, or I want to play this. I don't want to be playing Karula plus this on turn 8. Even in a deck like Portalcraft, where you have some of the cards, you're so reliant, because these cards, like, except for specifically this card, Doomwright, or, like, lines that involve this card to be able to give something Ward plus Doomwright on, like, turn 7, outside of specifically those, you don't have many lines that are strong, that incorporate multiple cards from, like, earlier on in the game. And I think that's, like, the big problem, is everything in this game currently is decided by just, like, bomb after bomb after bomb that is, like, quite inflexible in what it does. Like, right? Like, you play down... Artifact is, like, how you shape your hand, right? But Sword has been very easy for me to beat. This is... Yeah, this is, like, one of the newer versions of Sword. But Zirconia has been, like, a pretty easy thing for me to beat. All you have to do is, like, if you're playing Dirt, you just have to make sure you run out of 3/3 before the Zirconia turn, because then the Zirconia is forced to trade. Now the Zirconia is a 3. Dirt has a lot of things that deal packages 3 at targeted instances. And so then you're able to clean up the Zirconia, clean up the ward. Suddenly they're only left with the 2/2. The Zirconia didn't do a whole lot. But then sometimes, you know, then they have the second Zirconia, and then you lose, right? But it's about cards that are just, like... A lot of cards in this game just feel like they take your entire turn. They're very inflexible in what they do. They're really disgusting when they don't get answered. But, like, I mean, have we been Have you guys been playing Sword, dude? You fucking playing Albert. You look at that Reddit post, dude. You playing Albert, your opponent's at 13 health forever. You can't kill them. But you're like struggling, dude. You got to stay at 13 health. That's the mini game. You put down wards, it doesn't matter. It gets cleared by the Geno in their hand. They got a 2-card hand. It's Geno Albert. Like, you put up wards, they're gonna get cleared. They're still gonna have a board. You're still gonna be pressured. You don't have to answer the Geno. They've still got the Albert in hand. The top card of their deck is like, I don't know, this thing, because that's really disgusting. Yeah, that's my crash out, guys. Fucking look forward to the deck profiles. I'll be uploading the full VOD for Shadowverse online. I'm going to be doing that. Saturday, I don't want to stream it because I don't want to get stream sniped, and but yeah, it's gonna be pretty chill. I'm gonna upload the VOD, like, you know, split out the in-between time, or I could leave the in-between time. Let me know what you guys want. But until next time, this is your boy Dean signing out.